Hi, my name's Mark, welcome to Gamers Web, and in this video I'm going to take a look at the Chicago Way from Great Escape Games. Let's check it out. Hi and welcome back. Okay, so in this video I'm going to take a look at the Chicago Way by Great Escape Games. This is a game that captures the essence and feel of 1920s America, especially the period around Prohibition, when alcohol was banned in America during the Great Depression, and all the events that led up to things such as like the St. Valentine's Day Massacre and Al Capone, Legs Diamond, all things that kind of shaped American folklore history of the early 20th century, just pre-war stuff. And basically, if you've watched the movie The Untouchables or other programs such as that, like Elliot Ness and what have you, that's what we're looking at here. Okay, so this is by the guys over at Great Escape Games. It plays almost identical to Dead Man's Hand. It's very, very similar, but it's got slightly changed mechanics, but it's very similar to Dead Man's Hand. It's not a new game, it's been out for quite a while, but I've only just managed to get hold of a copy. So let's jump straight in. This is going to be the first in a series of videos based around this. Okay, so what we get in the pack is we get, we get our rules, which I think is 44 pages. We'll have a close look at it in a second. We get a set of playing cards, which, if you've played Dead Man's Hand, you'll understand what those are for, and I'll explain in a moment. We get a set of counters, which are double-sided. So we've got movement, we've got under fire, and out of ammo. I'm not exactly sure what those counters are for. I think there's something to do with vehicles, but I'll have to check when I read through the rules. And we get a measuring stick as well. And then we get a A3 poster of the Chicago Way. And on the back of it, we get a map of Chicago. Everyone can be gotten to. Okay, so we've got the far north side, west side, central, southwest side, south side, far southwest side, south sea side. Right, so just a basic map of Chicago. Now, I'm quite fortunate that I've been to Chicago, and it's one of the best cities in the States that I've ever been to. I absolutely loved it. Okay, so in the Chicago Way, you control a gang of driven men determined to achieve their goals no matter the cost. Choose from hard-nosed gangsters, two-bit gangs of moonshiners, unswerving prohibition agents, or bright-eyed squads of police officers. Campaigns in the Chicago Way represent a season of violent activity as the good guys and bad guys tussle for control of their patch, rival bootleggers, or to sweep the streets clean of any criminal fraternity. People are going to drink. People are going to drink. You know that. I know that. We all know that. And that's what I do, is act on it. All this talk of bootlegging, what is bootlegging? On a boat, it's bootlegging. On a lakeshore drive, it's hospitality. I'm a businessman. This rule book comes with a deck of cards, a campaign map. If either are missing, ask the wise guy who sold it to you to explain himself, or there's going to be trouble. Okay, so let's have a quick look in. So, well, a quick look at the tokens. We'll look at the cards in a second. In fact, I'll look at the cards first. So the cards pack is used to determine initiative, and also used to actually drive the narrative forward on the game. You can play them on your opponents, and this one is so tightly packed it doesn't want to open. You play them on your opponents during your phase and during their phase, and I'm just going to try and get in there. No, it doesn't want to open. Right, I'm going to leave that for a moment and grab a scalpel. Never leave home without one, as they say. Okay, so each gang or faction that you play in Chicago Way has their own unique abilities, which they can use in the game, and they also use their own suit of cards. So hearts, diamonds, spades, clubs. The way the game plays is we have our actions which take place using initiative. So highest being the ace, lowest being the joker, and then down to 2. So you play the cards for your initiative, but you've also got things on the cards as well. So this is out of ammo. Player an opposing player after he declares it will fire. Following the first shoot roll, the weapon jams, misfires, or is out of ammo. The model receives an out of ammo marker, and this further shots this turn are lost. So basically we get those. We get suits for each of them, and each of the factions has its own specific card. And nice, good quality cards. Let's pop that one back on there. Right, so let's have a quick look through the rules. Okay, so as with Dead Man's Hand, we have a quick reference guide at the front, and at the back we should have our quick reference guide again. Yep, so we've got one is in centimeters, the other one's in inches or imperial and metric, and this tells us exactly what we need to do using the game. So got some great artwork throughout the game. Nice picture here of a very Tom Holland looking gangster, and of course there's the Kevin Costner looking gangster from Untouchables on the front, and we've got lots of little shout outs on the thing. So what you need to play, you need 3 to 15 models depending on the scenario you're playing. You need 2 D10, sorry, D10 and D20, a couple of each will be alright. You need the cards. You need some markers, which we've already got. Tape measure, although you can use the card mixed tape measure that comes with the game, and some terrain. Okay, so let's get stuck in. Okay, so we have the cards. Now we've just gone through the cards themselves very, very quickly. There's our Elliot Ness looking Kevin Costner character. You get your cards drawn every turn, and you can depending on the scenario, you might get more cards, you might get less cards than your opponent to give you advantages or disadvantages, but they work quite well. When we're going to do a walkthrough of the game itself very soon. We're just waiting on the gangs arriving at the moment. Now, I've got a feeling this game's being done as a second edition. I think there's a second edition coming out, but I'm going to need to check with Stuart from Great Escape to see if that's the thing at the moment, because the game's been out for a while. Okay, so once you exhaust your deck, normally the game's over, but it depends on the scenario. Okay, so we've got civilians. They play a part in the game, and okay, so everything's. I'm coming at this brand new, so I've literally it's only just arrived, and I'm just looking through it for the first time. So every model can take 3 actions during its turn, exactly the same as in Dead Man's Hand, and your actions can be move, aim, shoot, reload a weapon, unjam a weapon, dive behind cover, and stuff like that. And because it's a cinematic style game, you can build your narrative by when you're moving, you can jump through from building to building, climb through windows, jump over cars, all that kind of stuff. As long as your tape measure actually takes you to the end of where you're meant to be, you can do it. Okay, so if you decide you want to do some actions like a move action, enter a vehicle, enter into combat, or what have you, or make a move vehicle action, sorry, ignore the move vehicle action. If you want to move, when you go to actually shoot someone, it's going to be harder for you to hit because you're out of breath. Likewise, if someone's shooting at a moving target, it's harder to hit, so they get a penalty and you get a penalty. If you stand still and aim, you get a bonus. Cover negates bonuses, and there's certain other factors that negate the modifiers that the negatives give to you, and stuff like that. Okay, so gaps can be jumped as long as they're 8 centimeters or less. Okay, so dead simple. We have a target modifier, and we have a roll of 1 to a roll of 20 on a d20. And if you roll a 1, it's a critical miss. You've failed, you've fumbled, and your gun jams, it doesn't work. If you roll a 20, that's a natural hit, and you can do some pretty nasty things, such as shoot someone and take them out in the first action. But of course, your player can interrupt by playing cards down on you, and that can cause you to end up screwing your turn up. Okay, so got weapons tables here with a nice Tommy gun, Thompson machine gun sitting in a violin case. So shooting results, you've got natural 1 is out of ammo or jam, 2 to 10 is a miss, 11 to 14 is an under fire marker, which is basically you being pinned in place, and for the amount of under fire markers you've got acts as a negative modifier on what you do during the next turn, next activation. And then under fire marker and a nerve test for 15 to 18. A nerve test means that you might bottle it and run away because it's a morale check, and then 19 to 20 is out of action. Okay, you shoot at the closest target, line of sight. Under fire markers, cover offers -1 to hit. Also, some things you can't be shot at through because they don't work. Okay, falling from elevated positions, firing from elevated positions. Amazing artwork all the way through, and all these lovely models painted by Kev Dallimore, who's definitely one of the best artists in the industry. Kev's work is amazing. Interruptions, so you can actually do interruptions in Dead Man's Hand, just much the same way as you can in this game. So a duck back is you basically you think that it's getting a little bit too tasty out there for you and a bit too hot, so you jump out of the way with a model that hasn't activated. So you can burn that activation by ducking back, and immediately you move 10 centimeters away or 4 inches away into cover. Take a quick shot, so that's like basically just shooting, and again that burns your action. And then we have nerve tests, so you have big nerve tests when you've lost a certain percentage of your units, including your boss, and that means the entire gang can run away. Hand-to-hand combat is lethal in this game. You basically, the more pins you've got, the harder it is for you to actually win the hand-to-hand combat, and the person who initiates the hand-to-hand combat normally has the advantage. And then we've got breaking off and shooting into hand-to-hand combat. Models can't shoot at other models in hand-to-hand combat because you're going to hit one of your friends, so it can't be done. Okay, so vehicles. We have vehicle movement, which is a brand new thing for this game. I think there is movement for the rules for horses in Dead Man's Hand, but I've only got the basic rules at the moment. So as soon as I get hold of the Curse of Dead Man's Hand expansion, which I think the rules are in, I'll cover that in another review. Okay, so vehicles have initiative, which is exactly the same as the initiative that's dealt for your gangs. And vehicles may perform actions in the usual way. You can disembark from models in a vehicle may perform actions in the usual way. They can disembark or embark using a move action. Once a vehicle driver moves, actions are translated into moving the car. If the driver performs 3 move actions or more, they are driving move 3 times. And then vehicle speed. Vehicle speed is determined by the number of move actions it's given. 1 is speed 1, 2 is speed 2, and 3 is speed 3. At the end of the movements, place the speed marker next to the vehicle. So if we actually look back at our tokens, I did think these were going to be for it. So you got speed 1, speed 2, speed 3. Those are our little markers that we place outside of our vehicles. And then we've got things that you can do. So vehicles can turn up to 45 degrees, make a HUD 90-degree turn, take a second action. So this is the modifiers that you apply to hit or to be hit. And we also have a template for moving your vehicle as well. You fail a test, this tells you what happens. So you fail by 1, an additional under fire marker is placed against the vehicle and it completes a move action. You fail by 5 plus, crash, roll a d10, 1 to 2, place the vehicle on its roof, 3 to 4, place the vehicle on its roof in the left position, and it goes on and on and on. And also you meet any models trapped inside the vehicle must pass a nerve test at -4. And if they fail, they get 3 under fire markers. So more disembarking from vehicles, shooting from vehicles, great use of the die-cast cars, which at the moment I'm hoping to be getting a Elegoo Neptune 3 later today. I'm going to bidding for it when Elegoo do the sale, and I've got a Kickstarter coming to me from Wow Buildings, which is basically a 1920s set of terrain, which will be absolutely perfect for this game, which is one of the reasons why we decided to go for it. Okay, so we have our gangs. Gangs have a profile, and it's quite easy to actually read through the profile and work it out. So each member of the gang has we've got a cost, which is how much they cost in dollars to recruit. They have the number of hits, which is how many under fire markers they can take before they put out of action. They have a nerve, which is the morale. They have shoot, which ranges from 0 to +2. This is how good they are at shooting. They have a hand-to-hand. Again, this is it can range from 0 to +1. I think it might even go up to +2. They have the drive skill, which represents how good they are at driving, and there's also the weapons that the characters have. Normally, it's what you see is what you get. So if you've got a model that's armed with a bolt-action rifle, it's armed with a bolt-action rifle. You can't really say that it's armed with a rocket launcher or a bazooka, because it doesn't have them. Okay, so you choose what gang you're going to be. So we've got the 4 gangs in the game. We've got the Prohibition Agents. So we've got a chief agent. You've got to take one of him. Then you've got to take 0 to 1 investigator, 2+ agents, 0 to 2 uncertified agents, and you can take a driver. And if we look at the chief agent, he's got hits of 5, so he can take 5 wounds before he's out, which is about the same as one of the leaders in Dead Man's Hand. He's got a nerve of 2+, shooter of +1, and hand-to-hand of 0, and a driver of 0, and he's got a pistol for free. Most of the characters will have 1 weapon for free. Occasionally you have to pay for one, like you can have a pump action shotgun here for $500, or you can have another one here for $200 for your field agents, and a Tommy gun for $600. So this comes off your starting amount of money, which is normally $10,000 for you to build up your gang. Okay, agents of the Bureau of Prohibition are responsible for directly enforcing the National Prohibition Act, or the NPA. The agents are low paid and of mixed quality. For each man who can be counted on to enforce the law, along comes another whose pockets are lined by moonshiners and gangsters, and whose belly is lined with liquor they're supposed to stop. Each gang gets its own special abilities, so everything within the law, once per game. After all initiative cards are revealed, the Prohibition agent player may pick up all of their initiative cards and place them on the discard pile. A new set of initiative cards are then drawn and placed on the table in a normal way. And then never stop fighting till the fighting is done. At the end of each turn, the player may place an under fire marker on an enemy model. This model must have at least 1 marker already and cannot be used to take a model out of action. So it makes it harder for models to do stuff. So you could place it on someone once per turn, then of your turn, and then the next turn hope that you get hand-to-hand charge distance that you can actually get in. If you get the initiative, that would be quite beneficial for you. Okay, then we've got the police. Again, very similar. The cost, more or less, the games are almost identical in the costs. And the police officer and the gangsters bosses have the same thing. Although the police officer comes with, the captain comes with a nightstick for free. Nightsticks, any police model armed with a pistol may also carry a nightstick, which can be used to re-roll the close combat dice during the first round of combat, which is pretty good, because anything that gives you a re-roll is really, really good in this game. The special skills are, if you're afraid of getting a rotten apple, don't go into the barrel, get it off the tree. Once per game, the police player may choose any card from the discard pile and swap it with a card from his hand. Then, always happy to oblige an officer of the law. Any opposing model that has to take a nerve test that has a police officer model within 10 centimeters does so an additional -1. This negative is not cumulative. The test is -1 no matter how many police models are within 10 centimeters of testing model. So quite cool. And then the gangsters. The gangsters, void that left by prohibition, soon filled by ambitious and ruthless men who would do anything to make a few dollars or millions in some cases. If a bribe falls, they are just as happy getting what they want through violence. And their special thing is, I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse, which is quite a famous movie quote. Once per game, when an enemy model which is not a leader declares its actions, draw a card from the deck. The opposing player also draws a card. If the gangster player's card is higher, the opposing player takes no actions and his turn is over. Fantastic. And then you can always tell the winners at the starting gate. At the start of the game, once all models have been set up, the gangster player may reposition one of his pistol-armed gangsters anywhere on the table that is more than 20 centimeters away from the opposing model. So you can do a redeployment. Quite cool. And again, the stats are very similar. Then we've got moonshiners. These folks have been making liquor for themselves for years. Now they get to make it on a grander scale and for more profit. They may not be the slickest operators, but make sure you don't cross them. You don't want to find yourself in a blood feud. Their special is Worst Survivors. Any moonshiner model taking a nerve test gets a +1 to test for each friendly model within line of sight. That can be the making or breaking of a game. Worst Survivors, I just read that one. We don't lay down for nobody. Whenever one of your models suffers an under fire result, 11 to 14, the marker may be placed on another friendly model within 10 centimeters. And again, their stats seem to be very similar. They do have, the stats are more or less the same on all of the models. It's the sergeant, the hitman, the big brother, and whatever the one is for the agents, which is the investigator. They get the +1 and +1 for the drive and hand-to-hand. Then we get vehicle types. Again, we get the really nice Tom Hardy style drawing. Vehicle types. So you've got medium cars, closed trucks, open trucks, and large cars. Special rules. Running boards. So running boards are the things that are fitted on the side of the doors on vehicles, especially things from the early to mid-20s, and they allow for you to carry extra passengers standing on the side of a running board, and they're very good for shooting from. Heavy vehicles ignore the first under fire marker. Hard to handle, closed, so it makes it's harder to actually damage them. They can't a closed vehicle each takes one cargo spot if carrying cargo or additional passengers. Passengers carried this way cannot be targeted by shooting. And open speaks for itself. Then we've got scenarios. We've got the hit, the heist, and these are played very, very similar in Chicago way as they are in Dead Man's Hand. The raid, the gauntlet, the massacre. And we've got campaign, which is the rules to actually run the game as a campaign itself. And then send one of his to the morgue. Yes. Yeah. Then we've got character skills, which you can give to your characters for your cards. So Prohibition Agents, Jack is bullheaded. No model may take an interruption against this character's actions. Cost $100. So these skills you add during the campaign to your characters. It makes them stand out a little bit more. Handicapping, so you can handicap one gang against another. How to win the campaign. And then at the back we have our quick reference guide. The quick gang guide. More printable counters and our vehicle turn chart. And then our credits. And of course the final thing is our rules, reference sheets. Okay, so that's a quick look through the game. We've also got this to quickly look at as well. Now, I've got these for Dead Man's Hand. These are brilliant. This is just basically the Chicago way MDF counters, and they're fantastic. They're really, really good quality MDF. I've gone a bit nuts on Dead Man's Hand over the past month and a half. I think I must have painted 45, maybe 50 cowboys up, and about at least a dozen buildings in the space of like a month and a half, which is not bad going when I can't see very well to paint. Okay, so I think these were designed by Foreground, who sadly no longer make MDF terrain because they've gone out of business, but you can still get some of it from the Great Escape Games website and from Foreground's website themselves. Right, so we have our movement tokens, as you can see, pre-cut on MDF. We've got move 1, move 2, move 3, out of ammo, and our vehicle movement tokens. And then we've got our under fire markers. We've got 1 hit, 2 hits, and 3 hits. Again, more movement tokens and our little range ruler. And they are quite cool. They're really nice. And that's about it. So that's just a quick look at the Chicago Way by Great Escape Games. As I say, we're going to be doing a lot more videos and battle reports and stuff like that coming out for both Chicago Way and Dead Man's Hand on Gamers Web very, very shortly. So please watch out for those. Thank you for tuning in. No matter where you are in the world, please stay safe, look after yourself, and we'll hopefully see you soon. Have a great day. My name's Mark. Thanks again. Bye.